Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a Connoisseur's Conversation. Today, we're going to dive into a fragrance, a specific fragrance being a Connoisseur's Conversation. This is from the house Merchant of Venice, and this is Vinegia 21. Vinegia 21 is one of those fragrances that I've picked up over the last few weeks after sampling, of course, like I always tell you, and it is one that was constantly on my mind to pick up. Found it at a great price point, and this is one that deserves your ear and attention. So if this sounds like the type of content you think you'll enjoy, pull up a seat, pour a glass, and of course, let's enhance. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Dry Down, the lifestyle channel where we as enthusiasts aspire to enhance and elevate our olfactive sensory experiences through the understanding of the different aromas, facets, and nuance of scent, cigars, and wines. I'm your host, Chris. Welcome to today's experience. As I stated in the monologue, we're going to dive into a fragrance review. This is just a nice insight into a fragrance I picked up after testing for some while from the Merchant of Venice, and this is Vinegia 21. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to do my best to give you guys the presentation. I'm going to tell you about wearability, longevity, and sillage, which is the projection of performance. I'm going to try to give you some of the nuances that I get from this particular scent and how I wear it and what I actually purchase it to wear for. And with all that being said, we're going to start out with the presentation of this particular box. The box has a sleeve. It is a nice little cardboard sleeve, nothing extravagant, full printing on it. It says the Merchant of Venice, which is the particular brand in Vinegia 21, Eau de Parfum Concentrate. It gives a list of some of the notes that are in the particular fragrance, which I'll list out for you with saffron, cinnamon bark, praline accord, oud wood accord, cedar wood, akigala wood, patchouli, vanilla absolute, sandalwood, myrrh, and incense. This is a fragrance that is done by Jorge Fernandez. I'm going to get that right. I think it's Jorge Fernandez. I'm going to look it up before this video is over and let you know exactly who the guy is. But I do believe it's either Jorge or Jordi Fernandez. Jordi Fernandez is what his name is. He's done some great fragrances for us. Oud Marzicool from one of the newer brands that is out. He did Blue Talisman, which many of you guys love. He also did, what else has he done? It's been spectacular in my collection. I know the Blue Talisman, which is one of you guys' favorites, got that akigala wood and musk accord, but great perfumer all in all. He made this particular scent, and this is a great one that I'm introducing you to. Let's get back to this one. As far as the boxing and presentation goes, this is a hard cardboard box out of the sleeve. It has a actual fold out with the printing of Venice, which this is a 2,000-year dedication to Venice. Venice became 2,000 years old in 2021. You flip that open, the little profile card has a list of ingredients and a little scent insight to what they were trying to discover with this particular scent and project to the world what they think of the city of Venice. And this is the bottle, of course, from the Murano exclusive collection. They make some of the best presentation when it comes to bottle. It sits in a nice cocooning shell lined with satin. You then next go to the bottle. It has one of these tassels. The tassels I don't take off my bottle. Nor do I take off the actual protective because it can chip the foil that is on the actual bottle. So I try to protect the bottle as much as I can by not removing this. But it says Merchant of Venice, and then it says Vinegia 21 on one side of it. Very hard cap. This cap is actually one of the better presentation caps ever. This thing, if you hit somebody with this, is going to knock them out. Very, very heavy weighted. Brass. I don't know if it's completely brass, but it may just a covering. But that's the all in all. It has the name around the collar. And that is the presentation for Vinegia 21. So let's get to the scent. What I get from this one, it's secret be told. I'm going to tell you before we get to the end. This, if you consider fragrances to be panty droppers, this is a panty dropper. No lie, no doubt about it. What we get here, some of the best perfume oils produced. I'm one who likes to bring up the actual perfume oils and what concentration they have in them, and also what they give as a scent profile for me because of the actual understanding of what some components can do. Looking at this fragrance as far as the accords went, I knew I had to get it in my collection. What I did after sampling many times over, the bottle actually smells better than my tester vial too. That's one thing I'll say about this particular scent. But all in all, what this has in it, and what Jordi was able to produce in this as an employee and or artist under the label of Givaudan, was get some of the best perfume oils out on the market. So what he has in this is a lot of Eau Pure, and Eau Pure is a brand name under Givaudan, which means they sought out the very best oils that you can produce with the name in front of it. So if this is a cinnamon or pure, it's the very best they can find in the world. If it's a bourbon vanilla or pure, it's the very best they can find in the world. If it's an Indonesian patchouli or pure, it's the best they can find in the world. Or pure is a brand name, but it also means in Latin pure gold. And they have 7 different pure gold essences and accords in this particular scent that come off phenomenal. This is one of the sexiest date night fragrances that I've picked up in quite some time. The uniqueness comes not from a factor of how it smells and different from many others. The uniqueness comes off in the smell of the quality of this particular scent. The smell and quality is not something, many of these scents that come off like this, you can pick up this essence in the first 5 minutes and then it goes flat into the sweetness or it goes flat into the woodiness. Those are the things that I deem to have low quality oils. They come off with a nice feeling in the opening. They may transition to a mid of some sort by the 15-minute mark, but then they go flat into the sweetness, they go flat into the woods, or they go flat into the citrus accords of that particular scent. A scent like this one, that Givaudan was given a brief to make on, to put forth a spectacular effort to show what Venice would smell like in the year of 2021. They hit it out the park with this one. This is a sweet, sexy, what I would call something that is one of the best romantic fragrances, as well as being what I would call a panty dropper. The romance about this one comes about with this very sweet nuttiness in the opening from praline. It has a very, very soft, warming accord of cedar wood that comes up in the opening as well. Slightly spicy, some oud is in this one. The overall encompassing of this particular fragrance, though, that if you are understanding of what some of the non-phenolic, non-terpenic style of patchouli can do for a fragrance, that cakey style, that sweet aroma of earthiness, this is exactly what makes this one so appealing. And what I mean by that patchouli that's become cocoon and sexy, if you've ever had in your collection or have ever heard of the scent Coromandel by the House of Chanel, this fragrance harkens to that very sexy aroma of sweetened patchouli, but it does not have the rose in it. So if you're one who even leans into buying that fragrance but just comes, headbutt yourself against what that rose may mean for you in the fragrance, this is the style of fragrance that picks up on the aromas of the sweet essence of woodiness, sweet essence of earthiness with that patchouli, oud, hazelnut, or praline nut, and a little bit of a captivating myrrh accord in this one. So it's the sweet, sexy oriental style of fragrance that has a slight gourmand touch in the opening, but never goes to the over edible, over sweet kind of fragrance. It's very resinous, very sweet, balsamic. It's a transitioning fragrance as well. Over a 3-hour time span, you will get different evolutions, and the base is the sexiest part of this evolution. The base is a Somalian frankincense with the bourbon vanilla or pure, Australian sandalwood or pure, and myrrh or pure, which are the fragrances that I mentioned in the beginning. After that 3-hour time span, it settles into that base. But once you are traveling through the fragrance and going through the journey of the way it opens, sexy, cinnamon bark or pure, and saffron with the praline. That's the sweetness. That's the opening and developing romantic part. It then goes into the exploration of what you will expect from the masculine side of it, which is the oud, the Indonesian patchouli, the actual Atlas cedar or pure, which is that soft, hard, just softness and warm and comforting part of the romance from the masculine side, along with the akigale wood, which we know is a buzzword nowadays. It then goes into the sensual base, which is that togetherness, that romance, the masculine of the woods, and then the actual journey and exploration of Venice, which is slightly encompassing of a seaside, palatial, just incubation of humanity from all over the world. So you got some Australian sandalwood, like I stated. So Venice is a place of travel and port of trade back in 2021 or 21, I should say, and all those things come forth in this one. So it's not a Silk Road or journey fragrance as much as it is a destination fragrance. Everything came here in abundance, and that's what you smell from this one. The spices, the opening of all those beautiful, beautiful spices, the chocolates, the akigale wood, like I stated, it stays throughout there. It's a slightly boozy accord in this one. What I get from the slightly booziness is that hint of earthy cinnamon bark, along with that saffron and praline that stays as a hovering veil over this particular scent. And like I stated, man, this is one Plenty of compliments while wearing, plenty of compliments while testing. The thing I love about this one is the sillage behind this particular odor. It's one with 6 sprays of this one, which I always do, even with the actual small 10 ml decant. 6 sprays with this one. This was 3 around the neck, 1 on each arm and 1 on the lower torso. Came off very, very refreshing in the opening, sexy and sensual, alluring, and of course debonair. The distinction is always about the patchouli in this one. At the end of the day, that oud, soft oud, it is never funky, never barnyardy. It's very overt in its hard masculinity on that edge of it, along with those cinnamon spices and the bourbon vanilla. So all in all, what you get from this one is one that goes into the realm of Grand Soirs. Like I stated, things like Grand Soirs, things like Naxos, things like Alexandria 2, where they have that sweetness, along with things like Side Effect that has that sweetness that's a calling card for seduction, a calling card for allure. While this one has those components and scent profile DNA around it, it is a distinct fragrance on that does not smell like any of these because of the high quality oils, like I said. To me, it comes off like slightly boozy, sweet aroma of care, caress, and romance. And that's what you get from this particular scent. So if you're in the market for a niche fragrance that is of high elevation, high wow factor when it comes to the bottle, sexy and sensual scent, you will be in love with what the scent of what the scent of Vinegia 21 does for you. This is a spectacular scent that I thoroughly enjoyed wearing this experience, and I can't wait to bring it out more and more often in the fall. It is a clip top bottle, so you have to be aware when you're handling this that you clicked it on, because it will fall off and it will put a dent in your foot. All in all, great presentation, great wearing fragrance, beautiful sillage. The performance is spectacular over an 8 to 9 hour time span. Everyone who smells this on you, they're going to give you, if not a compliment through a look at a stare, a compliment through verbiage, and they're going to tell you it smells great. One has not told me one time wearing this particular scent that did not smell well. And in fact, over the time spent of testing and since getting this bottle in, I've gotten quite a few compliments. 2 overt compliments of flirtation, and then 1 was from my mom, who was like, man, what is that smell you have on? So it's a compliment magnet, a beautiful fragrance. Vinegia 21 from the House of Merchant of Venice is worth getting your nose on. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my video for you guys today. I hope, as always, you got something entertaining and educational from this particular video. I presented to you guys Vinegia 21, which is a part of the Merchant of Venice house, a great fragrance house. I have Phoenicia, and now I have Merchant of Venice Vinegia 21, both fragrances from the same Murano collection that come off just beautifully. The Phoenicia, I'll give you a brief into that one. That's a fragrance that comes off like the Farce, the Boadicea, Sapphire, Blue Sapphire, things like that. It's a very fresh lemon opening with an ambery base with a mid of geranium. So you can see how that lineage of those fragrances come in line with that particular scent. Also austere from Electabus. Those are all fragrances that work in conjunction, and they did a fantastic profile with that. The musk is a little bit light, a little more sweeter, so it goes toward, if you're looking at a feminine, slightly feminine leaning one, not too much. It's one that they actually purport as unisex as all of their fragrances do, but you could smell somewhere in that fragrance where it can lean on the line, and if a woman wears it, it's going to smell feminine. Man wears it, it smells spectacularly masculine, as I do wear it often. But all in all, this was one that I enjoyed getting out to you. Vinegia 21 is a spectacular panty dropper fragrance. As I state again, I know that we have to work more than just wear a fragrance to get that done, but I'm sure you guys, with the game you have and the talking conversation that you get with this particular scent around you in the aura, you can't open the door. So until next time, until next video, I will see you then. Peace.